Welcome everyone, and thank you for participating. This is the opening video on the series surrounding Dynamics 365 marketing in a day. Its goal of the video is just to get you started and familiar with getting a demo environment and configuring the settings so that you can participate in a hands-on experience. So again, this video is designed just to be an intro to the workshop to make sure you've got a demo environment up and running. You've got all the features enabled, images, contacts associated with your environment, and then this will then dovetail into the other videos to support the workshop. My name is Craig Kreskis. I am a cloud solution architect here at Microsoft in the US. Now, the goal of this workshop was always designed to be a foundational workshop, again, marketing in a day, to help pre-sales technical engineers get up and running, get their demo environments configured, but also have a really good foundational understanding of some of the key topics such as segments, emails, SMS messaging, push notifications, triggers, customer journeys, and so on. To make sure, again, just as a reminder in the intro video, I am using the demo environments around CDX, the customer experience, so you are welcome to find a way to provision your demo environments. On CDX, what I've done is I went into that environment, I created a customer engagement environment. Now, unfortunately, that does not include marketing. So what I did from there is I used that admin user, and then I navigated over to trials.dynamics.com, found marketing app, and then I inserted the admin user and followed the steps to provision a trial. It got me a 30-day trial, so all of the data that you're seeing on your screen follows along accordingly. Also, it's good to have access to the administrative areas within the applications, whether it's admin.microsoft.com or the Power Platform administrative user. And then down at the bottom, I always ensure that partners, pre-sales engineers, remember to save your marketing tenant as a favorite so that you can quickly access it in demos. Now, before we begin, in this intro video, these are the three areas I want to focus in on: is making sure you have all the updated features, make sure that you have contacts with a current email inbox, and then we're going to upload images that you'll use when you're creating assets such as emails. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to make sure you go into the settings. So in the bottom left corner, you're going to switch the area page to the settings, and then you can navigate either on the left-hand navigation pane, or I prefer to use the central area, the dashboard. So for example, the first thing I want to make sure everybody has is the most current version. Now, at the time of the recording, this is my current version. If you are out of date, you'll notice the recognition here, and you'll just need to select Manage and Update. It'll open up a new window, and then follow the steps to update your tenant. Next, make sure you have all of the features that are either in preview or not by default enabled. So for example, I have everything I turn on here in this window, so I'll enable the event registration form. I'll scroll down. Again, I've got the content blocks, I have customer voice integration, machine learning enabled. So again, all the features that I want to expose in my demo environment, and then just hit save on the top right corner, and then select OK. Next, under the email marketing, again, you could navigate on the left side or in the center. It's important to open up the default settings and drill into those default marketing settings. Now, a couple of things to point out. Make sure that all this information is populated. Also, I will oftentimes enable this litmus integration. This is an OEM relationship, whereas an application allows marketers to understand the behavior of the emails that they're creating based on the recipient's form. So what I mean by that is you can preview as a marketer what the browser and what the email client will be. So you can see as you're developing email assets, what that'll look like. So make sure if you want, enable that. And then the other thing is under the customer journey tab, I have to remember to remind myself to make sure I have my current time zone. So I live in the mountain time zone. And the reason is if you don't change this to your current time zone, when you publish customer journeys, you're going to be waiting and wondering when it's going to go off. And again, so it goes based on this default time zone. So just make sure it's the one that you currently reside in. And then when you're done, save and close those settings. Now there's one other area I want to make sure everybody is familiar with. That's under the compliance. You'll learn from some of the mistakes I've made. Drilling into the compliance settings, first, you have to make sure that you have a physical address associated with your account. So I went inside and added Microsoft's address here in Redmond. And so that is one important feature. And then the other is this consent model. Now, I didn't make these changes. I didn't change the consent model, so I left it at restrictive. And then I forgot as I'm sending out emails, none of my contacts have opted in. So I would recommend you change this to a non-restrictive. But again, what I'll do is I'll show you where you can change this at the contact level. Because again, as I recorded this, I forgot to change that setting. So make your changes. Once you're done, hit save and close. And that's all you need to do when it comes to the features and updating those features and compliance settings. Next, let's take a look at how we can add contacts to your application, because you're going to be running demos and you're going to be wanting to generate metrics and analytics, open rates, click-through rates, and if you don't have good email addresses, how do you perform that? Now, obviously, you could add your multitude of email addresses. So if you have an MSN or a Hotmail or a Gmail or a Yahoo, you can certainly add those to your users. But an easier way to tackle that would be going under the Microsoft Admin Center. So this is the admin portal. And then under active users, what I do is, because when I provision these demo environments, it includes 25 unique users, and these are all active emails. So I just use these email addresses. I'll open up Alan Steiner as an example. I'll double click and copy and paste. And then from here, I'll do Alt-Tab, right? I'll toggle or switch to marketing. And then once I'm inside of marketing, I'm going to go under the contacts, which will be situated and stored here under the outbound marketing area. Click on contacts. And again, you see where you have obviously sample contacts. The challenge for us in pre-sales is none of these are real email addresses, so I can't use to interact with any emails that are sent to those individuals. So select new, and you'll see here what I've done is I've added Alan, his last name. I'm creating segments based on job titles in our workshop, so if you want, again, that's a good example where you can add a title, obviously paste the email address, and then down at the bottom, put in your city and your state. That's one of the first examples in our labs that we'll work on, is creating a segment based on city and state. And then if you want, make sure that you add a mobile phone to one of your contacts, because with the real-time marketing and journeys, I'm able to send and disseminate text messages. And so it's an easy way for you to demonstrate or see the pull-through example in the illustration by ensuring that you have a mobile phone associated to one or multiple contacts. When you're done here, again, just like we do in the Windows, save and close. Now notice I added about 4 or 5, 6 individuals. You can see here they all have a Denver city associated with them and Colorado as a state. Now remember, I mentioned in the compliance settings, if you didn't make that change, so if you go ahead and open up a contact, here you can see I have Alan Steiner, but you're selecting on the details tab, you'll notice because I originally had this environment set up as restrictive, none of my emails were actually being sent to our contacts. So all you can do here is under the not set switch that from not set to opt-in. Don't worry about the reasons for changing. Again, you're welcome to explore that. And then now save and close. And so what that does is now I'm able to send out or include in my journeys those contacts because they have now effectively opted in. Third and last section for this intro video is just to make sure you have images uploaded. We use images in the asset library to associate or put onto our canvas as we're designing emails. And so you'll probably want to go out to your favorite search engine, download images. Once you do, download those to your local machine. Here inside of real-time marketing, under the assets section, I'll select library. And again, the trial instance does not include any images, so you need to include those or upload those yourself. Hit upload, select add files, and now you can see here. Now I'm targeting or using coffee company, Contoso Coffee, as my example. I'll pause for a moment so you can see some of the images that I've brought into my environment: an espresso machine, some lattes. I have a reserved here, more for an event management image, a shopping cart, a thank you. So again, a couple images you might want to download from the web. Make sure you're in compliance legally on what images you can use. And also maybe align to the industry that you might be targeting, either as a business or in this particular opportunity that you're preparing for. Once you're done, select upload and go ahead and upload those images and then select done. And now you can see here I've got 18 active images that I'm going to go ahead and use for my demonstration. And that's it. That is the setup and introduction of the environment. We'll get started with some other videos. Again, here you can see on the screen kind of the proposed agenda, and I've decided instead of doing a marketing in a day full 8-hour workshop, we're going to go ahead and have these individual videos for you to consume as your time allows and as your schedules allow. So again, keep in mind all those videos will be available for you. If you are interested in learning more about some live events, our upcoming calendar events, I provided a link down at the bottom of this page. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on another video soon.